All right, Cub Swanson did it. What a great fight. What a great performance against Daniel Pineda. And what makes it more special is he was just on the podcast. He was my very last podcast guest. He had the podcast just a couple days before his fight, which I was nervous about. It was when it got scheduled. I was going to put it off and not do it because it was so close to his fight. We had tried to get it done before, but he messaged and wanted to do it, and I hate doing it just because I don't want to that close to a fight because I don't want to get in somebody's head or something, bother them before the fight. But some people, they enjoy it just to get their minds off things. And it was positive vibes, great podcast. And not only did he do a great podcast, but he actually predicted what he ended up doing today.
I never say first round because I tend to not take people out very early. But, preferably second round finish.
So check out the podcast if you can. It's a short podcast. It's amazing. We get into all types of stuff. We get into so many different things, plus the fact that obviously we cover the fight. He did a great job analyzing how he would match up with Daniel Pineda. He talked about where he was better, where he would have the advantage, where he would take the fight, and how he would finish and win. And he did it exactly like that. It was phenomenal. I was really worried in the beginning of the fight. He took some damage to his leg. The leg kicks from Pineda was definitely adding up. And I don't know exactly which leg was damaged from Cub, so I didn't know for sure, but I know the kicks were landing right on the knee. And coming from somebody that's had a knee surgery. I've had 3 knee surgeries. But for my ACL, MCL, meniscus, I was out 910 days from competition. I know what it's like. It's frustrating to be out for a knee injury, and it's definitely frustrating when, you get back in there and then you start taking damage there again and you get scared. So he took a lot of damage. Classic Cub Swanson form. He's a warrior. He's an OG. I mean, he just kept coming forward. His striking is phenomenal. He was landing on the button. The only thing is that got me jumping out of my chair was at the end of the first round. And it's funny because he called a second round victory, and it seemed like he didn't want to win in the first round. Almost when he did the podcast, he was like, I'm not really much of a first round finisher. I think it's going to be a second round finish. But in the end of the first round, he obviously dropped Pineda and had him hurt really bad. And he was being extremely patient on finishing him. Not sure why. But I was losing my shit because I was like, finish him, take him out, get him, clean it out, get the fight over with and get back to the locker room. He ended up going to the second round, and it was just perfection. I mean, he just stalked him down, precision striking, right on the button, and then ended up getting a nice knockout and a big victory for himself. He's back. He had a year off. You could tell he was emotional after the fight, especially talking about his family. He had a big win over Kron Gracie, and then he had to have the year off for the injury. So when that happens, it's tough. You never know what's going to happen when you come back. You can't predict how that's going to be. Especially, he mentioned on the podcast, he had never fought during obviously the COVID, but during times where you didn't have an audience. And so he was kind of concerned about that and wondering how that was going to be. He likes the crowd, and he likes to fight in front of big audiences. It gives him fuel and obviously momentum and just the excitement, adrenaline, But hats off to Cub. I'm not going to make this video very long. I'm just going to say he did a fantastic job. Precision, striking, great fight IQ, great strategy. And just great toughness. He's got experience, and he used it to stay composed, to keep the pressure, and to not let anything just get in the way of his main goal of winning the fight. And that's exactly what he did. So super happy, very excited, and can't wait to talk to Cub again. And that's my thoughts. Amazing.